Kristen, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you coming in for the podcast. And I'm so excited to talk to you because your wheelhouse is what real estate agents need to know about. And I have some really great questions for you that I think will bring value to my clients and to agents around the country. Before we get into it, though, I would love for you to introduce yourself, who you are, and what you do.
Okay, David, thank you so much for having me. So my name is Kirsten Graham, and I'm the co-owner of Six Figure Business Coaching. My background is real estate. I started selling real estate in the late 80s. I eventually moved to the mortgage side. I went on to own a mortgage company and a title company. And we survived 2008, but my mom was terminally ill in 2013 with cancer. And I just decided, I've been in real estate for so long, and I'd accidentally become a business coach. I mentored people for like a decade for free. And then I kind of started turning that into like a little side business, kind of like you selling real estate, then moved into coaching.
Yep.
And it really started to take over. I started getting more clients. And so I just decided that I was ready to get out of the industry and just coach full time, because that allowed me to be with my mom. So we had 6 great months together. And I'm from Virginia, but after she passed away, I actually moved to Sarasota, Florida. So that's me in a nutshell. But my passion is really helping business owners, in particular real estate agents and coaches, help them understand that their time is a very valuable asset. We always think of money as an asset, but time is a huge asset for people. And you can leverage other people's time to help you make a lot more money and to help you stay in your unique ability. And that's really my passion.
I love that. And I haven't heard people say other people's time. I've always heard other people's money, but I love OPT. Other people's time is all about, in real estate, they say leads, listings, leverage. And I believe in leverage. So I'm so happy to have you here. And I have a few questions for you that I think will bring a lot of value, not just to me, but to the people who are listening. What's the number one mistake you see agents making when they try to use videos to market their business and their listings? And how can they go about fixing that?
Well, it's about leverage. So for example, if you have a listing, that video content is really good for a short period of time. It's not quote unquote evergreen. It's relevant when it's listed. However, you can make it evergreen. And what I mean by that is, according to NAR, 86% of homeowners search neighborhoods prior to buying in neighborhoods. So if you create your listing video where you're talking about the house itself, but you also focus a lot on the neighborhood, all the assets to that neighborhood, all the lifestyle of that neighborhood, you're now turning that kind of listing, which is a time-specific video, into something that is actually evergreen. Because if I find your video talking about Palmer Ranch, that neighborhood, I don't mind that the listing's old. I want to hear everything you have to say about that neighborhood. And I'm even happy to watch the video about the listing, even though maybe it was listed 2 or 3 years ago, just because I like looking inside of houses. And
makes sense.
HGTV taught us that. If nothing else, HGTV taught us people love seeing inside of homes. They love to see what people are doing with their homes. So create content that is evergreen.
I like that. And so when you say evergreen, what I'm hearing is people need to know how to title their videos and how to use certain keywords so that when people are looking at a specific neighborhood, your video comes up.
Absolutely. So instead of it just having the listing, like house for sale, here's the address.
Right.
This house is for sale. It is in the Bella Bellino neighborhood in Palmer Ranch, Sarasota, Florida. So you're in local keywords, which are important for real estate, but it's also a home for sale. So you've got that in there as well. But again, expand on, because we sell dreams, we sell lifestyles, we sell homes, not houses. So speak to all of that. Talk about all of the different amazing things that are within that community. And what happens is those videos, if you do the SEO right, that video can work for you for years and years and years. So think about it. Maybe it takes you an hour and a half to record that video. You hand your virtual assistant to do all the editing. You get it uploaded. But now the video is working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for years to come. That's leverage.
That is definitely leverage. Now, something I come up against with agents, I'm a photographer, so I have all the mics, I have all the lighting, I have all the cameras, and people get so intimidated thinking, well, I don't have the equipment to do the videos. What would you say to someone who has that type of thought about getting started? They feel like they need all the things to get started.
Yeah, you absolutely don't. So ask yourself, is it an excuse? Because creating video can be scary, right? So
Right?
dig your soul and find out what's really holding you back. But your
Yes.
phone is really all you need. These cameras are fantastic. And the bottom line is people want to see, they found your video because of the topic. They're not looking for a Hollywood movie. They're looking for someone who's showing them that neighborhood, showing them that house. So I would say a phone and then a really good microphone when you're out to block wind and things like that, because sound's also really important. But
Right.
with AI and all the technology, things can be edited to make them look really, really polished.
I
And
agree.
for me, I'm not a tech person. I'm the opposite of you. I have
Okay.
a microphone, I have a my computer, and my phone. If I have
Okay.
to go outside of that, I'm not going to do it. I just know myself because I'm not one who likes gadgets and things. Anything that's techie, it's going to kind of get my way. So
Okay.
say the path of least resistance. And then in time, if you get to the point where you want to upgrade your equipment, you want to upgrade those things, you absolutely can, but it's generally not necessary.
Okay. I like to hear that. And I heard something I think Gary Vaynerchuk was saying our cell phones are more powerful than the computers Ronald Reagan had. Like when he was president, like we can run our entire business from our cell phones and they have great
Absolutely.
cameras.
Yeah, yeah. And the cool thing about creating evergreen content, even from your phone, is you now have video content that you can break down into shorter pieces of content for all of
Yes.
your platforms. And when you brought up Gary Vee, one of the favorite things he says that I love is people will often find us from short form content. They buy from us from long form content.
Correct.
So that's really important to understand. You do want to have those clips on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever your audience is, but at the same time, you want to have that nice meaty content on YouTube because it builds know, like, and trust. When people reach out to you, they're already sold on you.
I love that. And I completely agree with you on that. So if there's a newer real estate agent and they don't have the budget to compete with like a more uh, a bigger agent that has the budget to do great videos, what would you recommend to someone who's new and they don't have a lot of money to lean into producing content?
Yeah, so we actually have a program and we interview and vet and train marketing virtual assistants for our clients.
Okay.
So the ongoing cost to have an awesome marketing virtual assistant who can produce 4 videos a month for you, social media posts, is only around $300 a month. So it's not as expensive. Now you can go and hire an agency and you can spend $1,200 to $2,000 a month an agency or a marketing agency. But the reality is they're outsourcing that to virtual assistants anyway. And right?
Right.
Yeah. And our motto is a little
Okay.
bit different. Yeah. So I always say we're not a marketing agency, we're not an outsourcing agency. Our goal is to help, real estate agents start to build a team. When you have a marketing virtual assistant who works directly for you, you're paying them twice a month, they're on your team, they get to know you, they get to know your content, they know what you like and what you dislike. And you build a relationship with them. And then over time, you can say, hey, I got this going on. Will you create a flyer for this? Or hey, can you do
Mm,
it for me? Because then they can do more things for you because they are part of your team.
I love that. Now, let's say if we took leverage out of the equation and you have an agent who's really busy, they're working, they have a family, and they have like maybe an hour or two a week. Could you walk us through what like a video plan might look like for that agent that can only dedicate an hour or two to producing content?
Yeah, absolutely. And the good thing about that agent is they're busy, so they know the market really well. So they're already experienced.
That's right.
So let's say you sit down and you spend a half an hour doing research on your keywords, what you want to talk about in your video, because it's very important. It's not just your tags, title, and description. YouTube also looks at the transcript, and not just YouTube, Google. Next time you search something on Google, you might be surprised that they pull up videos from YouTube.
Yes.
People will spend more time watching a video, which means they make more money on ads. So spend some time figuring out what the keywords are going to be as you talk. So for example, when I was using the example of talking about Bella Bellino and Palma Ranch, Florida, I would want to use that throughout, throughout the content, not just in the title. So when you're laying out, and I always outline my content, I'm not a person that scripts it. So outline the content, think about what you want it to look like. More importantly, what do you want it to feel like? What emotions do you want it to have? And then block the time that you're going to spend recording it. And sometimes your videos may just be recorded from your home. You may not be out and about, but
Right.
when you're out and about, you may be taking short video clips of different neighborhoods or photos of different things because you can build an incredible bank of, or a library of all of this B-roll and footage that can be used in a lot of your videos. And if you're paying for drone footage, even better, because you can use that in multiple videos.
That's actually a really good point. Now, you mentioned keywords on like researching keywords. How do you recommend someone research keywords? As an example, as a coach, my ICA is an agent who's new to 5 years, who is having a hard time learning scripting and objection handling, knowing what to say, when to say, how to say it. How would I go about researching keywords to find my ICA?
So the tool we love, and there's so many of them, but we use keywords everywhere. So you can go into keywords everywhere. And the goal is to figure out what people are searching for. Given you and I are different people, maybe we need to find the same answer, but how we type things into the search bar could be different. And a great example of that is the word house and home, and how if you look at search volume, it can be very different based on, homes for sale in Sarasota, Florida versus houses for sale in Sarasota, Florida. So simple words can change search volume dramatically. So I would go in, and the people who are your ideal clients are probably searching for things like, how can I get more listings? Right? Because often they think getting the listings is the problem, but sometimes the problem is not closing the listing.
That's right.
Search, how can I close better listings? What's a great script for listing my videos? Maybe they're just searching for, how can I make more money in real estate? Or what do successful real estate agents do? The cool thing though is I'm just throwing out ideas, but when you're searching it, you can really see what the monthly search volume is, and that can really help you decide on what content to create.
I love that. Now, is this something, are you into using ChatGPT or any type of AI technology?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we use a lot of AI, but AI has its place as a tool. It's not going to replace you. So you could go into ChatGPT and you can tell them exactly what you told me. I'm a coach. I want to work with people who are 0 to 5 years. They want to get more listings. What do you think those people are searching for? What do you think they're asking in the search bar? And ask Chat to give you 50 to 100 ideas. Push it. Then take those ideas and search them. And you'll find that sometimes Chat is wrong. No one is searching for it. But sometimes they'll give you really awesome searches, and that you find out that they are your ideal. Or sometimes what happens is when you go into keywords everywhere, you type something in, but it gives you alternatives. So maybe what you typed in wasn't exactly right, but because the drop-down box gave you some ideas that are the right idea. So definitely use Chat, but then definitely move on to a keyword research tool.
And then I'm making sure that those keywords are in my title, in the description, and when I'm speaking, I'm using those keywords because YouTube, they're tracking the transcript and pulling that information to find the videos, correct?
Absolutely. And you still have 3 hashtags you can use on each video. So make sure those are your keywords for that particular video.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so how should an agent decide what type of content they put out? Should it be a property tour? Should it be a testimonial, educational tips, branding? How do they decide like the cadence of the content they're putting out on social media?
I'm going to speak to YouTube more than just social media, if that's okay. Because
that's fair. We need to be on YouTube, and especially doing shorts, because you mentioned it earlier. People find us because of our shorts, and they start working with us based on the long form content. So I think YouTube would be a good topic to cover.
Yes, I think it really depends on the client. So, and it's all about doing market research. So go to every major city or every city that's about the same size as your city and search real estate and see what agents pop up. So for example, I was doing some research with a client the other day, and we found a woman who has a YouTube channel, which is different from most real estate agents because it's all about listings, right? Talking more. So she's talking about listings. And it's interesting because throughout all of her content, she says, if you're not in my area, it's important for you to ask these questions. It's important to get an agent who does this. And then she says, and I know agents in all the markets. If you need a referral, let me know. So she is really getting that referral income coming in because you like her, you trust her. She's talking to you, she's saying, if you're not in my area, still ask these questions. So she's doing a great job. So she's gearing towards bookings and referrals. Now, if you want to think about creating content for buyers, like showcasing houses, if you have the opportunity to go into really high-end homes, everybody loves watching those, right?
Yes.
So those beautiful mansions are always great. Also, it's interesting. You have to think about human nature. What plays into human nature? Sometimes we're drawn to the negative more than the positive. That's why videos will be like, that do really well, are like, 5 reasons I'm leaving Sarasota, Florida, and you should too. here's why everyone's leaving, Richmond, Virginia,
I've seen those.
don't buy a house. So they actually get more traction because they're negative. And so for a lot of us, and I know this is especially true for you, David, we're optimistic and we're positive and we don't want to
Right.
run by fear. So it's really important to understand what consumers look at, but then there's always a way for you to spin that around. So I would say it's all about market research. Go find some videos in other areas where they're doing them negative videos and watch them and figure out what can I ethically and honestly do that I would feel okay about. Because that's the other thing is
Yes.
there's room for all of you because we're all different. We're going to bring different perspectives, different life experiences. So it's also about
Oh,
what content you want to. But please remember, there's a place for everyone's voice in the market, and you need to bring your voice. You need to bring you and your past experiences and what you offer, because people are really buying you. In the beginning, they've got to be sold on you. So create content that feels authentic to who you are, and that's what we help our clients do: is figure out what they want their voice and their content to really focus on.
and I love that you brought that up because a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to do that content. Other people are already doing that, but they're not you. You and I could talk about the same thing. And just because of my life experience and the way I express myself, and I have a different audience that you have, even if we're talking about the same thing, it's going to hit people differently because we're different.
Absolutely. And yeah, and I think it's that fear, but the fear is all about, well, there's not room for me. There's not space for me. There's always someone doing it. But there are people who want to work with you. There are people who need to work with you.
Yeah.
And I always think if you're an honest and ethical person and you're hardworking, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. There's a lot of people out there that are not honest or ethical and they're not hardworking. So if you show up for your clients, you deliver, you take care of them, you care about them,
Yes.
you're on your game, then
Yep.
you need to be out there getting that business because you're going to take really great care of those clients and that's what they need.
Yeah, and you're doing them a disservice if you're not out there showing them who you are. You're letting them go to someone who's not going to take care of them as well as you would.
And that should make you mad.
It should make you mad, and that's the way I look at it. Am I the best coach in the world? No. I know that I care about my students, though. I know that it's not transactional. I know when the program's over, I'm still there and I show up.
Right.
So if I let them go sign up for someone else where it's transactional, I should be upset with myself because I'm letting them down because I didn't fight hard enough to make them see who I am and what I could do to help them. I completely agree with you on that.
That's exactly how we feel. If we can
Yeah.
help people, like, again, work with someone who cares about them, who's honest and ethical, and will do everything to make them successful. And I know that I can help them save money and have a great person on their team so that they don't have to stop their marketing. There's nothing worse than getting something going and then stop. So we want
Yes.
to make sure we empower people to have the resources that they can keep their marketing ongoing.
All right. So as we wrap up, can you talk to us about the programs you offer? If someone wanted to get in touch with you, find out more about the programs, what are they? How would they go about getting in touch with you? What are your social media handles if you want to share those? And I'll put those in the description. However, I want to give you an opportunity to speak to that.
Okay, absolutely. So the first thing I have is a free gift for your audience, which is called Double Your Income with the Marketing VA. And they can get that at outsourcingforbosses.com, outsourcingforbosses.com. You can always find me at Six Figure Business Coaching. And what we really focus on is helping clients with things with outsourcing. So we help them outsource their video editing, graphic design, social media marketing. That's where a marketing virtual assistant comes in. We also help our clients with bookkeeping. So we have a program called Love Your Profit. You can go to loveyourprofit.com. We only open that up a couple of times a year. But this is where we really help you understand your numbers and hand all your bookkeeping off to a very affordable bookkeeper in the Philippines. And so we want you to have all that information so that you can make smart decisions with your money and grow your profit, really. And we hear a lot about David, about manifesting more money, right? Manifest money, attract money. I can make you a promise. You can never, ever, ever manifest more money if you're scared of your money.
Ooh.
And if you're neglecting your money, you're not taking care of your money, the universe is not going to bring you more money. So
Right.
that's what we want to do. We want to empower our clients to fall in love with their money. We want to empower them to become confident CFOs of their business. And we want to, again, leverage someone else's time so that you save yourself the time and all the stress around tax season. So that's really important for us. And then we also help with software virtual assistants. So for clients who want to leverage a tool like Go High Level, so they can have lead magnets and funnels and things like that. That's the three things we really focus on.
Well, listen, already based on what you shared, I can think of two areas where I'm going to hire you guys, especially the bookkeeping. I just finished stressing myself out getting my taxes together, and I do it every year. And every year I say, there's got to be a better way to do this,
Yeah.
a more affordable way to do this. And I think you have the solution based on what you shared with Love Your Profit.
Yeah, it's so amazing that first year when it's, it's January 20th and you're just like, here's everything for my taxes.
Right.
Here, but it's also really amazing when you get to meet with a bookkeeper each month and you really learn how to read your profit and loss and you learn how to read your balance sheet and you really learn how and where you should invest your money to grow your business.
Well, this is our business and we should treat it as such. It's fly by night, unfortunately, for a lot of us, including myself. And we need to learn how to track our dollars, know where our money's coming in from, know where we're spending it, and knowing how to create write-offs that will work in our favor. We need help with that. We don't know
Yeah,
what we don't know.
we go over a lot of those and there's some really interesting ones.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
you told me you have kids. So you've got a daughter going off to college. Is that right?
I have one in college, Elon University in North Carolina, and I have another one who's doing school visits this weekend, heading off to college.
Awesome. Do you pay
Yeah.
them a salary? Because you can write that off.
I know that you can, and I've known about that for years. Ask me if I've ever done it. The answer is no.
All right. Well, we'll talk more about that in the program. How about that?
Listen, I want to know about it because I'm at this point now where I just had to give the government money, and I'm like, that's a lot of money. It's a lot
Yeah.
of money.
And tax write-offs, they're not loopholes, they're legal ways that you can write off things. And it's so many
Yeah.
people, so much money on the table simply because they're not organized. And we can change all that in an instant, really, with having an awesome system and an awesome bookkeeper.
Well, listen, as agents, all the time when we're meeting with sellers, we say, hire me so we can sell it for top dollar because you're leaving money on the table if you sell it yourself. And then we turn around and do our own taxes and leave all this money on the table instead of having a professional bookkeeper help us.
Right. And
Yeah.
think about all to me, it's the stress too. Because I
Yeah.
can see it. I can see, we were joking today with one of our clients. She said, I'm definitely going to do a testimonial for you for this. And we were joking. She's like, I feel 10 years younger. I feel like I look 10 years younger now that I'm not stressing constantly about my money.
Yeah.
And that's
Yes.
powerful.
It is powerful. It is
That's the
powerful.
facelift.
I love that. And I really feel like this Love Your Profit. I know you said it starts up. Did you say May 15th?
Yeah, I'll run it again mid-May. Yes.
I'm going to reach out to you because I'd love for you to speak to my morning mindset call. I have agents from around the country, and this is an area we all need help and support with. And you have a system already set. Plus the video editing. I edit my videos. It's not the highest and best use of my time. I do enjoy it being a creative, but I do recognize that it's keeping me from doing other things that will generate more income. So I get that.
Right. So my business partner, Jeannie, is also a creative for backgrounds marketing. So
Okay.
you don't always have to say no. So if we're creating a new landing page or something and I can see she's getting excited about it, I'll say, do you want to actually do this one? And she'll think about it and she'll say, you know what? The kids are gone and my husband's off to rugby this weekend. I'd love to spend a couple hours on Saturday just getting into this because it's creative and she enjoys it. Or
Right.
she might say, no, with everything we've got going on, we're just hand it off to a team member. So you
Got
don't
it.
have to always give up that creative.
Love that. Love that. Okay. And before I let you go, anything else, any parting words of wisdom that you'd like to give to the agents that are watching this podcast?
I love you've got bracelet. I love it more than I fear it.
I want it more than I fear it.
I want it more than I fear it. I think that is so powerful, and I think that is so. You have to want it more than you fear it, because what we do is people are afraid of their money. They are afraid of getting on camera. I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound, whatever, or somebody's going to judge us. So we're in a place where fear can really cripple us. And I think your mission and our mission is very much in alignment because we want to help you overcome that fear so that you can live the life that you're meant to live and make the impact that you're meant to have.
Wow. Well, thank you for bringing that up because my book will be dropping soon. I want it more than fear it. It talks about me overcoming my fear of public speaking to get to where I am now and how that's helped me be a better real estate agent, better coach. It's my affirmation. I want it more than I fear it.
I love it. I love it. I'm about to get one of those bracelets one of these days.
I'll get you one. I'll get you one. Listen, it's a pleasure meeting you, pleasure having you here, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you to find out a little bit more about Love Your Profit. I need it, and I know other agents need it as well. So thank you so much for blessing us with your presence today. I really appreciate all the information you dropped.
Thank you for sharing it with your audience. I appreciate it.